We are back.
We
with
are
another
live.
one.
We'll try again.
That's right. We'll see if we can get this going again. And Ros, you're looking amazing in green today.
Thank you. The Guinea Group
The
green.
Guinea Group green.
It's ironic, but yes, I am. My new
Hello,
dress I bought
Stacey
in
Miller.
Brisbane. So
Yes, talk me through it. And you didn't even realise that today.
no, I
You
didn't.
just
I
turned
just
up and
turned
I
up
said you're in green.
and then I didn't even click until
I
I
can't
sat down and I
believe
went, "Oh, I met you today," and you
I
went,
know.
"I told you that before."
Oh, I know. Such a good colour.
I know.
And you're rocking
I love
it
this
too, by the
dress.
way.
Yeah, it's very
Rocking
it's very 60s.
Is it 6? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a real 60s style.
Really?
And yeah, no,
Okay.
I went shopping in Brisbane while I was recovering from my surgery, and it was a bit tight on me, but I figured
it?
once the swelling went down,
Yeah.
it would fit, and I'm
does
loving it.
Does it fit?
So cool. Yeah, it
It's
fits
good.
perfectly.
Great.
Yeah, no, it's
Cool.
great.
Catherine
Loving
Merritt,
it.
Yusuf
Hi,
Mohammed,
Catherine.
hello champ, and Stacey Miller all the way down there in Victoria.
Hello.
What's
Facebook
going on?
Live.
Yes.
Visitors.
So we're talking care factor today, girl.
Again.
Which I think is a good topic,
lots of
right?
things.
Because we had a pretty good live last week, yeah?
Yeah, we did.
And thank you.
We should.
And we really sort of, we did a bit more leadership stuff, I think, last week. And
Yeah, we
Graham
did.
Eady, footballer, go, mate. I think this week what we might do is dig into care factor in life. G'day. And
Yeah,
what
because we did do a lot of the leadership
stuff last week. That's right, public speaking, communication.
We touched on care factor in life
We
when
did.
we talked about involvement in community and
Yeah.
things like that. But and I talked about just helping a homeless person on the street and things like that. But we
Yeah.
haven't really delved right into care factor in life.
That's true. Now, before we do that,
Yes.
what's going on in Gladdo this weekend? Brendan
Calliope,
Waters.
McCosker's Calliope Rodeo
Oh, the
is on
rodeo.
today and tomorrow.
Holy
So get out to
crapola.
Calliope and support the rodeo.
Yes. Right,
Yeah,
big
apparently a big weekend. out
Isn't
there.
it?
Yeah.
I think Leslie's going from our.
I know a lot of people
from
who
the
are going.
TGG
Yes, so
business.
get out there and
Go out there and do a thing.
support Cowboys and the Cowgirls.
Go
and
you, good thing. We love the rodeos. We used to have
It's a great event for our little town out there at Calliope. Last weekend was under the trees out at Point Island. I believe about 1,000 people went through the gate.
That went nuts.
It was, and the Fergies were amazing. So
Right.
Fergies were on stage. I heard that it was very well attended. I was busy all weekend with work and stuff.
Right.
But oh hey Big Doll, hey my son Brendan. But yeah, the Calliope rodeo was is a big weekend.
Right. So, in saying all that,
Infamous.
you're going to tonight.
Oh no, I've been already, but I'm going
Oh.
again. So I have to tell everyone.
Yeah, is it good?
We went and saw them in Rocky, and they were brilliant. So I've been plugging them all this week while they've been here. If you
That's
have
good.
not been to Infamous,
I haven't.
do yourself a massive favour. Their last show is on Sunday night at 6:30. They're down here near the netball courts and PCYC. Go see it. They are leaving.
That
I've
good?
met all the people in the show. They're brilliant.
As you
It's
do.
so entertaining.
Is it?
Anyone on here that's been, please give it a plug. I cannot tell you, it is the most exciting, entertaining, funny show that you will see. For Gladstone to
So
get
good.
the talent. The level of talent in this show is unbelievable. It's very cabaret, Cirque du Soleil, burlesque. There's so much in the show to entertain you.
It's a big wrap.
Really great
Big
guys.
wrap.
I actually had dinner with them
Did you?
the other night, and a lot of the people that are in the show used to work for Ashton Circus, and they've all got histories in circuses, and beautiful people. Go support them. They're off to Harvey Bay after their last show here on Sunday. But yeah, cannot
Can't
plug them enough. They are
No.
honestly, and everyone that I have heard that has been to the show in Gladstone
Loving it.
absolutely loved it.
Great.
This will be my third time that I've seen them because I'm going to
Shit.
take my kids.
Shit.
So yes, definitely.
How long does it go for?
It's a couple of hours. So
Couple
I
hours?
think it starts at 7 and finishes around 9:30.
Perfect.
There's food there. There's there's a bar.
I might take
Great.
Jules, eh?
Oh, you've got to.
Got to take
You have
her.
got to take.
Shit, that's a big call. That's like very direct. That's like
Yeah, you've
nearly
got
an
to
order.
take her. I've
Got to
told
take
anyone, if you go and don't 100% enjoy it, I will give you the money for your ticket. That's how
Right.
much I will plug this show and guarantee that you will have an awesome time. Absolutely
That's a big
guarantee it.
call. Big call.
It will honestly edge of your seat.
Edge of your seat stuff.
Just, yeah,
People
I can't
flying
even.
everywhere doing
Well,
stuff.
it's
juggling
honestly, Anton, you were crazy if you don't go and see it.
and- I'm feeling it. Love.
It's 18 plus. It's not.
I'm
There's
with you. I'm
funny
going.
thing. It's
I'm
not.
going.
Yeah, honestly, just please guarantee you. If you
I'm
go and do
going.
not
I'm
enjoy
going.
yourself, I will give you the money for your ticket back.
Great. I'm going to bring my receipt.
That's my money back guarantee. No, seriously.
Oh,
You're crazy if you don't go and see it
I'm
while they're here.
serious. I'm serious.
Take
I'm not
Jules.
taking the piss. I'm serious.
Take Jules.
I'm gonna.
Telling him.
All right. Now, I've got
You will regret it if you don't go see it.
Okay.
You'll start hearing
Thank
everyone
you.
tell you what a magnificent time
show
they had,
it
and
was.
you'll say, kicking myself, I should have gone. Cheapest ticket, they're like $39. You'll get
Best
great
ever. Best
entertainment.
ever.
Cheap date
Best
out,
ever.
really.
And,
There's food there. They have
daytime.
awesome hot dogs and
Really?
meat.
Do they have
They have
Pluto?
cheese
do they have Pluto?
platters.
Do they have Pluto pups?
No, they have proper hot dogs.
The what?
Proper hot dogs in a
Oh,
bun.
hot dogs, right?
They have like these vodka slushy
Vodka?
things. Yeah, like
No, can you drink that?
yeah, there's a bar.
I'm definitely going.
Yeah, there's a bar. Take Zachy. They will
Oh,
honestly.
Zach's away this weekend.
Oh,
He's a drunken
damn.
way out.
Take your wife.
Music.
I'm telling you,
gonna.
you'll love it.
I'm gonna, and I'll tell you how
You
it
will
goes
love
after. I will. Now, I've got a very, very local question to ask you.
Very, very local question.
So, like, I bumped into Matt Burnett here the other day.
Yes. Yep. Lovely mayor.
Our lovely mayor, Matt, who we've had on, who's
Lovely
a
mayor,
fantastic
Matt Burnett.
individual, and we love Matt. I've known Matt
We do
and his
love Matt.
brother forever. I went to school with Damien, his big brother. Damien's my age. I think Matt is about 2 years younger than us, so
Yep.
Joey's younger than me. So Damien and I, Joey, and then I think Matt's 2
Yep.
years younger than us, right?
Yep.
So anyway, and they lived down the 2 doors down for a while. So I had
Isn't
a chat.
that a band? 2 doors down. Isn't there a band called 2 Doors
I think-
Down?
Is it? I don't know. Or is it 3 doors down?
Might be 3 doors down.
Might be 3 doors.
You could start your own band, 2 doors down.
I could.
Sorry, see.
That's all right. We digress.
We do digress.
So
That was funny though.
it was a funny joke. Now, Matt, I asked him about rates. Did you get a rates bill?
You and 1,000 other people
I
asked
know.
him about rates.
I know. Well,
they
actually,
have
no.
had a
You know
lot
what?
of questions.
I actually didn't ask him about it. You know what I asked him? I was a bit caring. I said, "How are you holding up, big fella?" That's what I said.
Yes.
So I said, "Do you, as the mayor, feel like a bit of like?"
Attacked.
Yeah, and he said, "Look, not really, man." He said, "I take the time to go and meet with those people and talk them through it, right?" I said, "Oh, okay, cool." And he said, "Guins, it's a tough job, bro."
It is a tough job.
So
Anyone
this
that puts their hand up for a
this is
position like
like
that,
that.
in council
Oh, I
or
know.
mayor or
Oh,
state
I know.
member or
It's a 7-day a week.
Gotcha.
And he said,
Matt Burnett and
he's
Glenn
into it,
Butcher
and they
are
put their
two of the
heart in it.
hardest working men that I know,
I know.
and they do an exceptionally
Good
good
job.
job.
Now, here's the thing. He said, I had to turn off Facebook because there's so much negative stuff, and if I'd read it all, I'd be bloody sad and down. And I said, oh, I understand that, right? Then, so I'm walking up the main street here the other day, and I bump into one of the councillors, Chris Trevor.
Yes,
I bump into
Chris
Chris.
Trevor, long-term business owner, solicitor, great man as well. Yes.
He actually did our legal case for me with the Burns in 1994.
Wow.
How's that? A long time ago. Now, and I used to
and
play.
his lovely wife was a local business owner
There you
too.
go.
She owned that lovely shoe shop.
Did she?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I used to play football against Chris. How's that?
Back in the day.
Back in the day when we were both young men. Now, I've got a question for everyone out there on Facebook Live, lad, and you, Ros.
Yes.
If you were mayor for a day,
Yes.
what would you change in our region? If you were mayor for a day. Now, this goes out to everyone in Facebook Live, land.
So welcome, Graham.
Edie,
Joined, Big
and
Bill.
Phil Richards. If
That
you
is
were,
a really great question.
I know. If you were mayor for a day, because we know that we whinge a lot as citizens, we whinge about rates. If you were in the chair,
So what's the one thing you would change? Is that your question? Or do?
let's start with one, but you might have 2 or 3 agenda issues, agenda items. What would you do? What would you change? What would
That's
you
a great
fix?
question.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Actually, I think there'd
What
be a
would you
lot
do?
of interesting answers to
Oh,
this.
there will.
What would you do?
Well, my bent is sport.
What could you do in a day, though, if you were there for one?
okay.
Yeah,
So, well,
if you were, okay.
let's say you had decision mate. Let's hypothesize and say you had the ability to make any decision in a day.
Okay, cool. I like that.
I think.
Would you want to be a leader of a country right now? Like, I've been watching a lot of the stuff with Donald Trump and the
The wall.
Brexit.
What about the
Yeah,
wall?
Brexit.
He's building
Oh,
a wall.
I think he's got
He's
a lot of
building the
other
wall.
issues apart from a wall right now. Yeah, with impeachments
Is he getting
and all
impeached?
sorts. Oh, have you not been watching the news?
I don't watch the news. I try to keep up with it.
Yeah, but I'm on Twitter. I'm getting his tweets and
So he's going to be
trying to keep up to date. Well, you know, there's
What's he been doing?
lots of things.
Okay.
What would I do for
What
a
would you do in
day?
a day? I know what I'd do. My bent's sport. And I'd love to see. And you know what? Actually, the first thing I do is give council a rap.
Mm.
But that's only because I'm an optimist and I'm a gratitude sort of person. The roads around here are improving so much.
I just was saying to you before
Yeah,
that
sure.
the Tallua Bend road between Gladstone and Boyne Island and Tannum, they're currently upgrading it. Please be patient, everyone, because we've been waiting a really long time for that road to be upgraded. But you've got to go through the hell of roadworks and everything. But it's looking amazing. They're widening it and everything.
I know. But if you just drive around Gladstone at the moment, there's a whole lot
They've
of
been resurfacing and I was actually having dinner with Leslie, who works for you, the other night here at the
Group of
Live
Companies
Box.
Proprietary Limited.
Yes.
For all your leadership,
my lovely friend Leslie, that you
communication,
introduced me to.
all your leadership, communication, public speaking needs, come to see us. We'll sort that stuff
and I
out
can
for you.
vouch for that.
Thank you.
So I left here. I live down the road, so I left here. When I got down the road, they blocked the whole street off at both ends with witches' hats, and they were starting to actually asphalt the road.
There you go.
And so I drove around and I thought, I must have to come in at the other end. So I went round the other end and it was blocked off too. So I'm just standing there and eventually got somebody's attention. And she goes, do you live in here? And I said, yes, I do. And she said, well, we've just started tarring the road. And I said, well, I don't want to get tar on my road, but I need to get home.
Yeah.
So eventually they let me sneak down the edge of the road and turn into my place.
Good.
But I was thinking, I'll be sleeping in the street.
In the car. Sleeping in the car.
You know what? That was funny. They worked all night. I could hear my high set place.
How good's that?
I could hear the trucks beeping and they had these huge lights on the street, big floodlights.
Lighting plants.
They worked all night. I wake up the next day, it was done, and I thought, how awesome is that?
We got a pothole repaired in our street.
Neat as a pin.
Yeah, I know.
There is. Have you been up? I think it's up Auckland Street.
Yeah.
You know, they send a letter out for Fulton. Hogan send a letter out to say
we're coming.
And they tell you when it's going to be done and make sure your car's off the road.
Mm-hmm.
There's must be broken down. There's an old car. I think it's on Auckland Street.
Did it get towed?
No. There's like the asphalt.
They've gone around it. Oh, they've gone around it.
The asphalt sort of goes. This old bommy car's just parked on the road, and there's just this section around the car. That's not. So when the car eventually gets moved, they're either going to have to just do that. It was funny though. I thought, someone didn't get the letter.
That is cute.
Or didn't
funny.
have the ability to move the car.
Good on Fulton Hogan for not moving it, because you think you just somehow tow it away or something.
I don't think they would be able to just tow it away.
Yeah, that's true too. They get in trouble. So I think there's a lot, and I love the fact that there's a whole lot of cyclist stuff on the road at the moment.
Yeah, see that. That's
I like that.
Have you seen
Safety first?
No, there's a lot of
lot of backlash.
I know. A lot of people are not happy with the rules with cyclists.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm a cyclist. I don't want to get killed.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I think there's this opinion that cyclists have a bit of an attitude that they own the road when they're on it.
That's right. And I certainly don't have that attitude. And I certainly ride with some people that don't follow the road rules, and I see other cyclists.
How many can you have abreast? What's the road rules? So they're just in...
It's legally, you can be two abreast.
Okay. That's interesting.
And that's probably a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Next week, how do we care for cyclists?
Oh, stop it. We're not doing a live on cyclists. So what would you actually change?
Yeah.
Noisy cars.
I think I'd have to have a discussion. I'd really want to have a discussion around costs to taxpayers. I'd want to understand that.
Tax or rate payers?
Oh, sorry, rate payers.
Rate payers.
Just probably for peace of mind. I think I need more information on it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think there is enough information and disclosure of where what the rates money goes into? Because the confusion is, and I hear it all the time because I'm in real estate.
Yeah, where does it go?
The question is, our land valuation has dropped again this year, but our rates have gone up.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is the message probably isn't getting out there enough from the council as to a breakdown.
I agree.
What's the cost to. And I don't know whether that's even. We should ask Matt that. Is it actual public knowledge?
I think Matt does that work.
How much does it cost now that we've got all these new estates? And see, the thing where the confusion, I think, and I hear this from people, if they've opened all these new land estates and units in the last 6-7 years, they're now getting money from all of those. So
there
their
should be.
costs increase because they've now got to maintain more roads and more gardens and more median strips and more,
You're saying the
bin
income's
services.
more, though. Yeah.
But the income's more because when you look at, like, I sold a unit down in Rollo Street, which is where the backpackers are.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a 3-story unit. It's an old complex. I believe there's 12 units in the complex.
Right.
There is a swimming pool at the back of the complex. And then there's just 12 units that are all, the middle level is the street level. Okay. The rates on that one unit last year, so I don't know what they would be this year, so it was last year or the year before I sold it. The rates on that one unit were $4,500. So 12 units in the complex at $4,500 on that one block of land. Where people question is, how can you show the value of $50,000 for that one block?
Property.
Where is that $50,000 going to service one block of units?
No,
you know what I mean?
And that's probably the question I'd ask.
And that's where I think there is the confusion is. I've had people say to me, I'm paying for bin service on a vacant block of land.
I don't have a bin.
I don't. Right. But the council say you're paying for the fact that you have the ability to have bin service.
Yeah, that's right. And we got to pick up everyone else's.
Yeah. I hear people at Barua and Beecher who don't have full pressure town water
or sewage,
and their rates have gone up $1,000 or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that's where it is. People need to clearly know. And like I said, it may be public knowledge. I don't know. The message may be out there, and people aren't hearing it.
And I think Matt does that work if you really want to go and ask him.
I'm sure he would. And I'm sure that would have to be public knowledge. What was the bills
you'd find it if you wanted to.
For the roads this year? And the other thing, I've heard people say their gardening costs must have gone down because they've changed a lot of the traffic islands from gardens to the AstroTurf.
Yes.
So they don't have to mow them or water them anymore. So, there's all those questions where people are going, hang on a second, there's more land, so there's more rates. The rates have gone up, but obviously as estates get bigger, the cost to maintain those becomes bigger for council.
That's right.
So I don't know. So I think it's just maybe people don't understand why, because there's not an explanation as to, okay, when our land values went up in the boom,
our rates went up.
Probably
didn't complain.
Now our land values are going down and the rates are still going up. And I think that's where the confusion comes in. So maybe we should get Matt on to
again.
explain
that.
Yeah,
maybe you would, because I'm not a negative Nancy, right?
No, I'm not. I like
nor
people
are you.
to have the opportunity to explain and understand it.
So if rates go up, and I'm happy with the services that we get around town.
And they did give us an extension.
Yeah, that's right.
60 days.
And I did feel for what I felt for the local council was this. If you Google it, this was the biggest thing that I think people kept saying to me. If you Google Gladstone in Australia, we're the 8th highest rate payer in the country. Any other city?
I've heard that highest in Queensland.
Oh, probably are. We're like 8th in Australia, and I felt
we could be. We could very well be.
No, we are. I've seen it.
No, I mean in Queensland.
In Queensland. But we're the 8th in Australia or something like that. Now, if I was mayor for a day, I would give people. I'd do something publicly. I would actually try to be really positive about that. Now, you're not going to convert everyone, and I get that. People are still going to be pissed off.
Yes, they
are. I would get information out there into the public eye about what that looked like. Number 2, as a cyclist, I would do something around cycling and around road safety, because it is only a matter of time, seriously, until someone gets seriously injured with the attitude, like you just said then.
A lot of people feel that.
So we put safety stickers on the road and people blow up that we've spent money on safety stickers for cyclists to keep cycling.
There are cycling paths appearing though around Gladstone, I've seen.
Yeah.
What do you want to see on the roads that's going to help from a cyclist perspective?
Better driver behaviour.
But is council rates going to pay for that?
No, not at all. But maybe there's a campaign. Maybe there's.
Wouldn't that be a state government campaign?
And maybe it would. I don't know.
Road safety, main roads, whatever.
We're imagining that we
have the ability
to make these decisions.
It's nice to though.
It is.
It's nice to go. What if you were in charge for the day? I wouldn't want Matt Burnett's job for any amount of money. I can tell you, it's a tough
rice in China.
It's
information about rates, something around cycle safety, and I think that's just my bent in sport. And I'd get a triathlon in Gladstone, close in town at a Wonka Dam. Because I think a Wonga is
Going
such
to change it from Gladstone Regional Council to Anton Regional
Yes!
Council and just do triathlons
Can we
and
do that?
cycling. Let's just change the whole name of
the Triathlon Regional Council.
We could just change the whole state government precinct from Flynn to Guinea.
Could we?
You know, if you were in charge.
Because one area of Gladstone I think is totally underutilised. How long since you've been to a Wonga Dam?
Or maybe
Too
2
long.
months? No, it's probably
you
more of
sold
a summer
something?
thing.
Oh,
I do,
summer,
yeah.
right,
I'll probably
right,
go
I
out there
get that.
more. It's a beautiful place.
It
in
is
summer.
a beautiful part of the world, and it's totally underutilised and undervalued.
A Wonga Dam is
It's
flippin' beautiful. It is beautiful.
There is a little a hut out there. I suppose it used to be a kitchen, used to be a restaurant.
Yeah, there was a cafe there a few times.
Yes,
It's
and
beautiful.
I get that it doesn't get used very often, so that'd be a big thing for me.
We are very fortunate
Blessed.
to have
I
that
know.
body of water. When you
Out
look
there.
at all these places running out of water,
Sport and all that sort of
well,
stuff.
not just that. Right now with these Stanthorpe, Miriamville, they got no water.
Yeah, that's right. So
I have an interesting story about that. Some
story.
friends of mine
Yeah.
I saw on the weekend, and we were talking about the lack of water in Miriamville.
Yeah.
They sold a fish tank on Gladstone Classifieds, and someone from Miriamville bought it. And we thought that was interesting. And we were like, and apparently they're going to put fish in. I said maybe they've got dam water or something. I don't know, but I thought
Isn't
that
it
was
interesting how we look at people's behaviours
and I was
and
like,
judge them?
because you know Coles at Tannum have been donating bottles of water to Miriamville. Did you know that?
No.
Which I think is sensational.
How do we know that that particular individual doesn't have a tank?
Well, that's what I mean. I said to them they might have a rainwater tank,
That's
but a lot
right.
of people have no tank water left. My auntie and uncle live in Samford in Brisbane, just
Yeah,
outside,
Samford.
beautiful hinterland outside of Brisbane.
Yeah.
They're on their 3rd month of having to buy a full rainwater of tank water because they have no water. Literally no water. It costs a lot of money. And the local laundromat, I think, is taking advantage of the fact that everyone's run out of water. It costs her $19 to do a load of washing at the laundromat.
$19? No.
Yeah, $19.
One load.
She took all her sheets and that because she normally does what most people do. They change their sheets once a week and towels and all that. And she said they just don't have the water to wash them.
Yes.
So she said they're waiting like 3 weeks to change the sheets on the bed because they've got no water. No water. So Care Factor
what
in
would you do?
leadership.
So what? No, what would you
Well, I'm
do?
talking about being the mayor because obviously.
Oh yeah, Care Factor and leadership.
We're
Care
talking
Factor
about
from
the mayor.
So how does the mayor
That's a
show
leadership
Care
role.
Factor? Well, he does. Matt's a nice guy.
Matt's a lovely guy.
He gives us a lot of his time.
Yes, he does. And he does a lot of stuff in the background as far as hard working goes.
Shivers, we've missed everyone.
Oh, God.
Oh,
What's
sorry,
going on?
team. Oh, no. If I was mayor for a day, I'd call a public holiday.
Oh, good on
Kerry,
you, Joe.
rock the green.
I
It
bet
was
they'd
my
get a
dad's
lot of
favourite.
votes, Joe.
Sorry, we've missed all of these.
Why
Mark
is it not
Brooks.
scrolling?
I
How
don't
far
know.
back did that go?
Don Ellis, I'd order in electronic charging blocks, set up suburbs with jet solar. Mark Fitzgerald, David Bruton, Nancy.
Lee, Brett.
Oh, sorry, team.
For some reason,
We
our
missed-
comments haven't been showing.
We didn't think anyone was on.
No.
Or I would create
Hi, guys.
curbside fruit trees and gardens to encourage.
Oh, I like that. A communal
Me too.
garden, Donna. I
like
love
that.
that idea. They're really popular
Freddie
in the
Lighting.
big cities.
Lee.
Sorry,
Hey,
guys.
hey, we've got one of your buddies on here that's coming to our retreat.
Tony
Murray-
Noyes, Jenny,
Murray's not
Harry,
coming.
Joe.
Murray's not coming,
Look at all
but
these people we missed. Go
but-
Raiders.
where is
It's got to be
she?
a football player.
Where is she? Oh, I can't see. Joe R2, Nudgee College. Kerry Atherton's coming. Rock the green. It was my dad's favourite colour. Very special. Good on you,
we're
Kerry.
all green today. Look at us.
Kerry's coming to our retreat. Oh, by the
Even
way,
even
we have
the
a
messages-
public speaking retreat coming up in case the whole world doesn't know about it yet.
We do.
And we're going.
We are.
October
I love the
26th,
Sunshine
27th.
Coast.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it is.
We're going to learn a bit. Have you learned a bit already through
I
the
have
coaching?
learned a lot.
Did you learn a bit today?
I learned lots
Through
today.
the coaching session today?
I did learn lots today. I
What
even
did-
learned some technology stuff that you taught me. So
Yes. And I'm
I'm
not
like,
a real
oh
tech
my
buff.
God, I can't believe you can do that.
Oh, I know.
See, you know more than you know. You don't know what you know.
You
You
don't-
don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, well, that's true too.
So, I think that Donna's would be great having a community
I
garden,
like that.
communal garden. There's a lot of
For
those
sure.
in
And
cities and
plant
stuff.
more fruit.
Yeah, definitely.
Plant more fruit.
You know, there's so much fruit that goes to waste. You think I
There
was
is.
talking about my friend's place, and they've got 200 mango trees. You know, it
Yeah.
used to be a farm for
Yeah.
mangoes, obviously, but now they're a dime a dozen mangoes, and get a bucket load of fruit during the mango season. So would be great to be able to have like community gardens where people.
That'd be good. Go and get yourself
where,
sorted out.
where
some
people,
fruit.
where people. I don't know why that's not.
Lorraine Bentley, not a
Where people,
Okay.
can go and get passion fruits and limes and citrus.
Wouldn't
and
that be a good idea?
I think
I'll write
it'd
that
be
down.
awesome.
Fruit trees. I like that.
We'll talk to Matt about that.
We will.
But I
So
definitely would not want, as far as care factor in leadership, I think the leaders of our community,
What?
in
They-
political
I
roles,
like
they
it.
are very caring.
I said to Chris Trevor, you seem to have a whole bunch of nice people in them. And he said, we have him, Glenn Churchill.
Oh.
Beautiful man.
Beautiful.
PJ.
Desley?
PJ's a lovely guy.
Desley's
Desley's lovely.
Lovely girl. Yeah.
Rick Hansen, really nice.
Natalia.
Natalia. I
They're
don't
all-
know Natalia very well.
They're all very caring
And
people.
what Chris said was...
And I really genuinely, because I interviewed them all for the council elections, remember?
Yeah.
And I did my live interviews, but they all genuinely want to get into those positions to help the community. They are passionate about our community, and I think that really comes across with all of them. And you know what? You don't take on a position like that lightly.
No, that's
Like,
right.
seriously, it's damn hard work, and I just think anyone who steps into the role of any sort of political thing,
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
right. I'm with you.
yes,
Um,
you should run for council, I think. Definitely.
I reckon. What do you reckon?
I think you should, but you shouldn't just keep your whole campaign around cycling and
I know.
triathlons. You're
Okay,
a
so-
very caring person.
I'd love to make a difference, eh?
Yeah, but
I
you
really
would make a difference because
Love
you
to.
are and you're actually a very good personality.
Oh, thank you.
I'd vote for you.
Would you?
Definitely.
There's my first vote. I'm
There you
gonna
go.
write that down. So yeah,
I think
no,
a
I'd
lot
love
of people would vote for you. You're very well known. You're very well respected.
Thank
You're very passionate about the community.
to. Yeah, no, I am absolutely.
And you know what? You honestly don't take it lightly. And people that I see you getting some love for that. Lots of love.
Thank you.
There's people that have run that haven't actually got voted in. They're very passionate about running again. I know that because they
absolutely.
have that same
That
thought
drive, that care
they want
factor.
to. They want to be able to give back to the community,
Yeah, that's right.
and it's a really very it's a big commitment.
It's a big commitment. It's
commitment.
nearly a full-time job, right?
Well, I don't know if people who don't know really personally, people like Matt Burnett
Yeah.
and Glenn Butcher, and I know Glenn's wife Therese
Yeah.
very well as well. And
Yeah.
when you actually think about the family dynamic and how often Glenn's
Glenn's
always
away.
flying away, and when they're together, they do lots of social things, and people always want your attention when you're at the races or
That's
you're
right.
at the opening
right.
something at a function, or so it's a really big
It's a big
commitment.
commitment, absolutely.
Big commitment.
And
you
I'd
would
be
be like
I'd be
that,
cool with that.
See?
Vote one Anton, go.
Oh.
Vote one Ross.
I ain't running. I will put my hands up right now and say there is no way in hell I would take on that position. I think
thought about that. But
you should.
I'm gonna. I reckon I will.
You said yes really quickly, so
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
I'm interested. Stay tuned on that one.
Stay tuned.
All right, so
Watch
care
this space.
watch your space. So care factor. Let's bring it right down.
Speaking
to,
of care factor, everybody, and Glenn Butcher, Glenn's brother is Wayne, is a police officer
Wayne
in our
Edward.
community. This weekend is National Police Remembrance Day. My dad was a police officer
So was
for
mine.
many years.
I mean, Jules's dad was.
There you go. My uncle was a police officer.
way.
My dad also went to Vietnam. I
And
have
how
a
much care
high
factor do
respect.
those dudes have?
They have a lot.
I've got a niece
a
who's
lot
a
of
police
that,
officer.
and I've just had C20. Is that this weekend, the 29th?
Yep, Sunday.
It's the 30th
Police.
anniversary of National Police Remembrance Day. So it's
Australian
commemorating
police
Australian police officers who've made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. So there were many nights. My dad worked as a detective in the CI branch in 42 Valley. He used to disappear for days because he was working undercover, all that sort of stuff. And I have to tell you that there was some days Mum didn't know it was coming. It's just a
Really?
scary. It's a scary thing to be married to a police officer and always have that fear. And we've just had the anniversary of September 11. Oh, Lorraine's husband. That's right. I forgot about that. We've just had the anniversary of the Twin Towers and Pentagon disasters, and they had a lot of documentaries on the firefighters and the police officers and the families that were affected by that. So it's again a big commitment and a care factor in life to take up a position where you're servicing the community in those sorts of positions.
Absolutely.
And if you like to show your appreciation to our emergency services.
Oh, you're doing this thing in
Yeah, we have
December or
booked our
something,
Central Queensland Emergency Services Appreciation Day on the 14th of December. So
Wow.
watch Facebook,
Watch
will
this
be
space.
promoting it, raising lots of money for them. Because you know what? What bigger care factor for in life can you have than to dedicate your whole life and career and put your life on the line for the community? So, you know, running for council and state government, they are all giving back to the community. But the ultimate, you know,
Sacrifice.
imagine
It's a
these
big
men and women
sacrifice.
who've given their lives to protect and serve our community. So we're thinking of
Hats off
all
to
the police officers
That's it.
who have made that ultimate sacrifice, and we always are. But National Police
Remembrance Day. Cool.
That's,
Right. So, Ros, talk me through this. How easy is it to care for another human being?
well,
That's a loaded question.
I find it. Yeah, it is. I find it easy, but that's my personality
Okay.
is to be very caring.
Right. So that's where I'm going with that. Is that? Let me ask you this question. So, if I said to you, "Were you born caring?" What would your answer to that?
No, nobody's born caring.
Right.
Nobody's born anything. You develop.
You
You've got
those
genes, obviously, but I believe you just develop
denim genes.
based on your
Someone wrote a song about that too. One time.
your raising conditions.
What's his name? What was that song?
Not Dr. Hook, no. I don't know.
Something.
I know. I was thinking of Hot Chocolate. I think they sing one that's maybe makes her blue jeans
tall.
tall.
Baby, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's right.
I don't know if that's the one you think of.
Oh, that's one of them.
But I don't think. I think as an infant, you come out of into this earth, and you're nurtured and you know the way that you're raised, and because a lot of people come into life with not having the greatest childhood or upbringing and having to go through awful things. So I believe the caring part of it is in your nature if you have experienced that.
So if you have experienced hardship or if you've experienced care?
Both. It's like the story you told about the twins.
The two twins, yeah.
And tell that story very quickly.
So very quickly, the father who was a rapist and murderer, like a terrible, terrible human being, in jail for his crimes on death row. And one of his twin boys was in the cell beside him for the same crimes. But his other son was a world-changing doctor who saved lives, who was at the other end of the spectrum, like vastly other end of the spectrum. And when they asked both the boys the same question, which was, why did you end up like you end up, Sharon? They both had the same answer.
And it was.
Well, how could you expect me to be anything else? Look at my dad.
Exactly.
Now, isn't that interesting?
Very interesting.
Omar, hey, bro. Because it's not what happens to you, it's how you internalise it. It's the meaning that we put on things, right? So my accident, incident, whatever you want to call it, like for a long time, I put the wrong meaning on it, or I was shitty with the world and why me, and, I could have been killed and, I didn't deserve that. And it's not fair. Hey, Paul, how are you, bro?
Hey, Paul?
Nah, college. Sorry, bro. And you're right, because sometimes the people that have had the toughest lives become the most caring individuals.
Absolutely.
And the people that have had, for example, in workplaces, shittiest leaders become the best bosses or the best leaders.
Steve and Jackie, you become a product of your environment. Either you become it or you go against it.
Okay. Right. Now, so do you know much about Freud?
A little bit.
Right, Freud and Jung.
Yes, Jung.
So how much do you know about them?
Oh, probably what you've told me.
Right, okay. Cool.
I know a bit from books and...
Yeah, so psychologists, philosophers, psychiatrists.
Workshops.
Yeah. Now,
someone always brings up Freud.
Yeah, well, Freud's an interesting chap because I love what we're sort of unpacking this afternoon is, and I love what Steve said. He's a Chanel College boy.
Might have been Jackie. You don't know who's on there.
Oh,
there's
could be Jackie.
They're tricking you.
Is Freud said that your future is determined by your past. So if you were abused as a kid, guess what? You'll probably be an abusive parent. You'll never really get over that. It'll mean that you're a shitty individual. Your future is probably... You don't have any real control over your future because your past determines who you are.
Do you believe that?
I don't know, do you?
No.
Right.
Because John Sorotti talked about that.
I agree. So...
Like the guys in the jail.
Absolutely.
So you can be abused and say, I will never ever put my children through what I went through, and you can do what counselling and whatever it takes to not ever put other people through what you went through, or you can go down the track of being an abuser because you were abused and saying it's not my fault, it's the fault of the people who raised me and did that to me,
and therefore I'm a victim.
Yes,
it's a victim. It happened to me. Yeah, victim mentality. So if you listen to Brene Brown, she talks about people having the mentality of a victim or a Viking.
Yeah.
She sort of says it's not great mentality. I get this, especially in leadership. So either you're going to go and change the world, or you're going to, I've got my hands tied. I can't do anything here. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
I'm struggling with life, and so I'm a victim. Or as a leader, you go, I'm a Viking. I'm going to go and change the world, grow this business, whatever. In this particular context, there was a guy who was a student of Freud's, and his name was Alfred Adler. And Adler came along and said, I don't believe all that, because you're actually not a result of your past. Your past doesn't define you. What defines you moving forward is the decisions you make today.
Absolutely.
So you have the ability to...
Why is he not famous?
I don't know.
Freud's famous.
I know.
He should be famous.
Well, Alfred Adler is. If you Google Adler...
Yeah, but I mean, you talk about Freudian slips, like there's Freud, there's... Yeah.
He was a bit of a nutter, though, too. But I love Adler's...
No, I've read that already, sorry.
You become who you decide to become, is his theory, right? And I think you're right, because care is something that I think can be learnt, can be taught. So
I'm just going to look something up while you say that. You've just reminded me of something.
So if you have a think about what are the qualities of someone that cares, so what would you say caring qualities are? Give me some words that encompass that.
Empathy. Relatability. Supportive.
Yeah. Compassion. Empathy, compassion.
Yep.
And support, for example. Let's take those three words. So can you teach someone to actually be empathetic? Here's a question for you. Can you teach someone to be empathetic? Well, let's unpack what empathy is first.
Yeah, I was going to say. So it depends on...
What's empathy?
So empathy is I understand what you've been through. Yeah. It's different to sympathy, because a lot of people get them too mixed up. Sympathy is I feel sorry for you. Empathy is I understand what you're going through.
With you.
Yes.
Not for you.
Yes.
And I love the Georgia Louise, Sharon Johnson's daughter. I love the sympathy, empathy thing, because there's actually another end of that as well. There's apathy, where I actually don't care.
Apathy,
I have zero care factor.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't want to be sympathetic. We don't want to be apathetic. We want to be empathetic.
Yeah.
And what empathetic is, basically, it's a hard thing to do. It's called holding the space, right? Because, so for you, for example, let's say, for example, you said to me you have cancer, which you never will because you're lucky. I haven't had cancer. So even though we say empathy, I understand. I'd lie if I said I understand. What I could say is, talk me through it. Tell me what you're going through. I'm here for you. I'm here in this moment with you, as uncomfortable
and a response
as that is.
like that is better than saying nothing. I
get what you're going through. Gee, I feel sorry for you.
Or I find too, saying something like actually acknowledging that must be so difficult for you. I have no idea what that would be like. I have no idea, when someone loses a parent or someone, you haven't actually achieved. Exactly. I can't even begin to fathom what you are going through. But I'm here for you, and take me through it. Let me know what I'm here with you, and just listen. I think a big part of empathy is just listening and allowing them to let you in and share how much they need to share with you.
Because empathy is uncomfortable.
Empathy is uncomfortable, but you can get better at it. I believe you can get better at being empathetic, and I think life teaches you lessons that give you the ability to get better at being empathetic and understanding, but you've got to listen to those messages.
That's right. So based on what we just said then, I'm going to say that empathy is a learnt skill. It can be a learnt skill. You know, it fell over.
I thought you were going to
Stay
trick.
safe, bro.
Sorry, I thought you were going to
Stay
No, I thought
safe,
you were gonna
bro. Stay
trip.
safe.
Oh, what are you guys up to?
Oh,
We're
it's
on our
live
live video. We do it every Friday. Come say hi.
Come say good day. We just met
He's
a
got
new
a
dude
visitor. Sorry,
here.
guys.
My name's Anton.
Hey, Anton, my name's Anthony.
No way.
It is.
Anthony.
His name's actually Anthony.
Not Anthony.
Yeah,
and
Ross.
Anthony.
Hello, Ross.
Hi, it's
Lovely
nice
to
to
meet
meet
you.
you. We thought you were going to trip up
We
the
got
stairs.
We are colour
I've been
coordinated.
editing flamenco films all day,
Have you?
so
What is
I've got
that
like
for?
a
Is that why you were dancing?
Flamenco
Yeah.
films.
Right.
flamenco.
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 Oh,
Spanish
Flamenco.
music. Flamenco.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just did a performance called Flamenco Fire at QPAC in Brisbane for the Brisbane Festival.
Oh,
Concert
wow,
Hall.
how
It was fabulous.
exciting. And you've been editing the video.
Yes, amongst other things, I'm about to go meet my wonderful cast because we are performing Lady Beetle tonight.
Oh, are you?
no.
Well, give it a plug.
Give it a plug.
What time do you
Well,
start?
we start at 8 o'clock tonight, and it is Lady Beetle featuring the fabulous Naomi Price. She's absolutely
Oh,
out of
wow.
town. The show's called Lady Beetle, all about the Beatles. If you're a Beatles
At
fan,
the
you love
Gladstone
it.
Entertainment Convention
Gladstone
Centre.
Centre
Yes.
right here.
Yes.
Bookings are solid, but there's a few tickets left, so hop online now. Go to ladybeetletheshow.com. I'm not sure if that's
They're
right.
probably on the Gladstone Entertainment
That's a better way to do it.
Yeah,
Good
website as well. So if you go onto
GECC.
decc.com.au and yeah, it's up there right now. Look,
So there
Lady
it
Beetle,
is.
tonight's
So
show.
what do you-
What's your role tonight?
My role
Lady
is playing
Beetle.
piano.
Doors open
No,
at 7
you're a
p.m.
musician.
It's just flashing up on the screen. And then
so exciting!
I know.
I can't believe all of a
What's
sudden
behind us?
I'm
you have
amidst
to
the
like
live.
our page now so you can
Yeah.
I
see. So
will.
tickets are still
Can you tell me
available.
what it is that you guys do?
Anton, and he's like the owner of the Guinea Group, so he does training and
With the leadership work.
Okay,
and
yes.
I own a real estate agency at Bourne Island.
Fantastic.
So every
We've done this
Friday we come out.
over a year now. Every Friday we sit here and do a
Have a
live
chat.
video, and we have some
Chat and people
followers there, and
chime
we
in.
have a
That's all
different
of the
topic
goss.
every week.
Great.
So today we're doing Care Factor in leadership. We're actually doing Care Factor in life because last week we did Care Factor in leadership.
Listen to understand, not to respond. Love that. Well said, Sharon. And the stage looks amazing.
Donna
The
Ellis
stage looks
must be.
amazing.
Yes,
Donna
she's
works in
working
there.
here, so
She
yeah.
works
Yeah,
there.
she's got
the inside running.
What's your number one piece of advice for being caring in life?
Yeah.
Look,
What's your mantra?
I feel like Sharon has nailed it. I think the key
Well done, Sharon.
to life is learning how to listen and not just listening to respond. Listen, to understand. I think she's nailed it.
Holy shit.
It was an absolute pleasure
It
meeting
was.
you, Anton and
Thank
Rose.
And
Thank you
good
very
luck
much.
tonight.
Thank you.
Come see Lady Beetle at the Entertainment Centre
Thanks,
tonight.
Sharon. What a guy.
See everybody.
Thank you
What a
for
guy.
jumping in.
What a guy. What a
See,
guy.
that's great. And
Now,
Sharon
can I
has
tell you
nailed it. Oh,
now-
look at this.
Now let's get a bit deeper on that.
Oh,
Hello,
lighting
Anthony.
is
Go
next
you, Sharon.
level.
Ryan Bentley, $35.
Oh, there
and
you go.
lighting's next level. Let's get a bit next level with this. So, what did you notice then?
Oh, actually, firstly, I noticed he nearly fell up the stairs, but
Like,
then
that scared the shit out of
he was
us.
very open to and a connection straight away.
Did we connect with
No,
that dude or not?
He was great, amazingly.
Completely connected. And what else?
And it
What
goes
else did we
actually back
notice?
to our live we did last week about having the ability to come up and just approach someone. We've never met him before, so Anthony has just
Anthony.
walked up. We
We
said
made eye
we're on a
contact.
live, and he went, "Oh, so you
Great.
should join us." He went, "Oh, great!" So
See, most
he's got the
people.
confidence.
so-
He's obviously on stage,
Yeah.
so he needs confidence.
So a lot of people, if you said you're on a live video, what do most people say?
Oh
What's
my
the-
God, no. Oh, I'm gonna,
I
and they
know,
run a mile.
I know.
Yes.
Whereas he said, "Oh, that's good. Talk me
And he
through
said, "What
it."
a great thing you're doing here, and
I
what do
know.
you guys do?"
I
And
know. Isn't
that's
that-
about having the conversations that we talked about last week.
And it's like 101. Communicate to care
And
and
he
connect.
was reading the comments
And he
because
was
when I
interested.
said, "What's your take on
Yes.
care in life?" he goes,
And
"Sharon's
Johnson.
nailed it." So he was actually interacting
Interesting.
with. How good
Now,
is that?
Is
And
that
we did.
cool?
That's not pre-planned. We've never
No.
met him in our lives. He's just walked in off the street,
It's actually public.
tripped up the stairs.
Yeah, that's right. It's communicating to care and connect 101.
It is, and the fact that I actually acknowledged him and said, "Are you okay?" Because I
which said,
thought he.
stay safe. I
and
said, "Stay
that
safe, bro."
prompted him to come and
Come over
say,
and say good day.
"Oh, yeah, how great
And
is
as soon
that?"
as we made eye contact, it was like
So you know what I always say, and this is interesting. It's probably a really good time to bring this up.
engagements.
Exactly. Imagine the things you could be missing out on that could be great in your life by missing an opportunity like that. Just simply saying, "Are you okay?" Because the guy
Hey, you
tripped up the stairs, and
and-
we've just met this amazing guy. He's told us about his show tonight, the show that's on.
What an individual, and what a guy.
He asked us what we did, so he engaged
And
to
we
find
found out
out
that
where
he's-
we're from.
He's a pianist.
He is a pianist, and all from him tripping up the stairs and us actually saying something to him.
I know. Is that cool?
And
or is
that's
that cool?
empathy, that's caring, that's, "Are you
That's
okay?
everything.
I feel sorry, you just
Yeah.
tripped up the stairs, you embarrassed yourself a little
What a
bit."
guy. Now I feel
And
like
he
I need to
came
go and
over.
watch that show tonight.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Now
And
I can't go to the circus.
imagine what you might be missing out
I
on
know.
by not making a connection simply based on something like that, giving a homeless person a blanket, acknowledging the work that our counsellors do, acknowledging the people who do fundraising,
That's why you and
talking
I
to
do this
people like
work.
that, and that is why we do this work.
Oh, is that Matt? Matt
It is
Burnett.
Matt.
We're just talking about the man. He just gave us a beat.
Oh,
Oh, I hope he knows we're giving him a rap too.
yeah. We'll have to tag
Can
him.
I tell you a story? Can I tell you a quick story?
Tag him in. You'll have to tag
Matt
him in the
Burnett.
live.
Yeah, cool. Can I tell you a quick story? You know,
Yes,
like
absolutely.
it's moments like that. Oh, is that Matt Burnett? Yeah.
Oh, don't.
No, shit.
She's humiliating.
Where's
your cursor? That's true. Oh,
So-
Lisa. Oh, Lisa, I've got to ring you tonight.
Sharon Bell,
Call you,
smiling,
girl.
smiling at strangers.
Yes, exactly. Something
You,
that's
Sharon
simple.
Bell, you're onto it, girl.
You are. And Sharon is really good
She
at
is
connecting
connecting.
with
And
people.
where she connected us with the
She's
LinkedIn local the
really
other night.
connecting.
Her and Kieran are LinkedIn local gurus.
Yes.
And this is a shout out. For
What's
that
your story? Did you say you want to
I
share
wanna
a
share a
story?
story.
Yeah.
Now, this is from the heart. This very,
As
they
everything
all
that
are.
you say is from the heart.
So I was doing a coaching session with a guy this week, and I did a live about it because I was so moved by the experience. And 50-year-old guy, not an educated man, said his love. Good equipment operator, now in a leadership role. Actually, now in a mentor role to mentor young trainees, young Indigenous trainees. And so we're doing some work together, and he's really open, and he's just got such a big heart, and he's now willing after a few sessions to really open that heart up and let me inside and share how he's feeling, and we talk.
Mickey.
Mickey Taylor, and we talk in emotions now. How you feel about this, and how do you feel about that? And it's the first time ever in my life that another male has asked me if he could read a poem to me.
Wow.
Is that special? Or is that special?
That is special. And I love poetry. So
I love poetry.
if anyone wants to
But
read
how-
me a poem, I'm really happy with that.
He and to me that was like, because poetry to me is such a personal thing, and it's like art, I suppose. And he's an
It is
artist
a form.
too,
You need to be very creative to write poetry.
and expressive.
Oh yeah, and songs.
And
Do the lyrics to songs get to you when
big
you hear the
time,
words to
big
song?
time.
I get really, really emotionally attached to song, whether it's to make me feel if I want to.
Yes.
And poetry's the same,
I
I think.
know.
And there's
And
a
that's
real
why-
talent in it.
That's why I was so connected to this guy. Like we just like bang, or we're already connected, but just bang like that. And I've posted the poem on my Facebook.
Oh, wow.
On the
I'll have a
TGG.
look.
Yeah, so he got his daughter to type it out, and it's there.
Did he write it?
Yes. He wrote it over 3 days
Oh my god.
when he was in a depressed state.
Wow. And was it good,
To the-
obviously?
Oh,
How lovely he wanted to share that with you.
that's
if it
what
was
I
so
thought.
personal.
I know. See, if you're out there, you might go, "Oh, that's not a biggie." Like to me, it was a real biggie.
Yeah,
Like,
but
to
that
have
shows
someone-
care from both you and him, because
Oh.
he actually said, "I want to share this with you."
And we've been texting every night now about, because I said to him that the poem, if you go and read it on the TGG page, was like in the matching tops. Guys.
Yeah, I know. That was complete fluke. I bought this dress in Brisbane when I was recovering. I happened to
You
wear
wear
it
that
today.
every week.
I know. I'm thinking this
Every
could be my
Friday.
live
Yeah,
dress.
I know.
So we're matching.
I know,
It's
we
actually
are
quite
too.
pretty. Look, I'm going to
I know, it's a lovely dress.
a
Beautiful.
little waistband.
Ooh, that has too.
It's very 60s style.
No,
No, this could be my new live top. Eh?
Yeah, I reckon it should.
Yeah. So but I think that's lovely that he was actually willing
and
to share that. Like that's
and he
a deep
talked about
personal
how he
thing
felt
to
when
do.
he was writing it and all that sort of stuff. Hello, Ross. Now, hello,
Hi,
Annie.
Annie.
Anyway, so we had this sort of moment, and I said, "I'll put it up online and stuff." And I said, "Okay, can I share something with you?" And he said, "Yeah, I'd love you to." And I asked him to go away and watch the movie, or tonight, just go home and watch the movie, Collateral Beauty.
You know, we were going to talk about that movie, and we
have
never
to.
did.
Next week
We
will.
never did.
Next week, we're going to unpack the lessons in Collateral Beauty. Is that okay?
I think that's a great idea.
And
That's another bit of my homework.
and
I've
if
got to make
you-
sure
could you
I
watch
well, I
it
want to
this
watch
week,
it again.
please?
Yeah, I want to watch it.
And
Definitely.
for everyone out there,
It's been
here's
a
your
long
homework. Please watch.
Yeah, and then it should come up. Collateral Beauty, folks. There's a really great message in that movie.
Man.
That's it there, isn't it? The movie?
Is that it?
Yeah, with the tick on it.
That one?
298,000 likes, yes.
Right. So
That's got to be it. Let me check. I'm going to go live for a second with you.
Beauty. So my challenge to you out there is, team, and I sent this particular individual away with this action. Guess what? So like 9 o'clock at night, text me, just watched the movie, loved it. And you know what he asked?
Oh,
He said,
it's not highlighted on there, but
it is there. It is there.
yeah, I'll have to have a look after.
And he said, what was the link? He said, why did you ask me to watch that movie?
Oh, and he did watch it. Yeah,
He watched it?
Yeah.
Isn't that good? He committed to it and he did. No. And his poem was about time. Deep, man.
And did he make the connection?
He didn't.
Oh, that's
He
interesting.
did.
But
I know
you
it
did.
was. Yeah. Well, there's 3 abstractions in the movie,
Yeah.
Collateral Beauty, and one of them's time. And when you watch it, I'm not going to tell
Did
you
he
more.
enjoy it though?
He said he did.
Okay.
He said he
just
did.
couldn't see that.
He couldn't see that. He said, "No, just help me understand why."
Okay.
And that's a great question. Talk me through it.
Now, Nikki, she's just asked what's the movie, so it's
Collateral Beauty.
Definitely watch it.
Will Smith. Oh, Ros Waters doing.
I just joined to see if I had that movie tagged, so we make sure we
so-
tag the right thing. I don't want to
Absolutely.
tag the wrong thing.
So next week, what we'll do is we'll unpack Collateral Beauty from a care factor perspective and from a key message perspective.
I
Now,
think that's a good idea because we have care factor in love is
because
we've done
scene in that movie is going to be the opening scene at our retreat. Just so you know,
okay.
the first 5 minutes of our retreat
Okay.
coming out of that movie.
Okay.
So you're going to see it
All right.
again in October.
All right.
So anyway,
I'll be prepared.
we're
be
sort of
prepared.
coming up to the hour. Care factor is so easy.
What
What are
about
the
care factor in we won't talk about in personal relationships like you and
Intimate
Jules because
relationships,
that's
yeah.
next week. We'll talk about care and care factor in love.
love
And it's not just love for you.
Intimate
We'll do kids and
all sorts of love.
yeah, we'll do the kids. I've had a
Pet love.
shocking thing. There's a lot of stuff going on with my kids at the
Oh.
moment. Poor thing, ups and downs. Oh, Sarah's hurt her ankle and
Oh shit.
having tests
So
done,
strong.
and yeah,
Shit. Hope
Brendan's
she's
been
alright.
struggling. He had a bit of trouble with his weight,
Oh,
and so
shit.
it's just been.
Holy shit. Stay
Yeah.
strong, the water's
And
tough.
you know, we'll talk about it next week. But
Alright.
a lot of it is it's that I feel like sometimes you're juggling, with work and community
Life.
events and life and business and all the rest of it. And but I think care, that care factor thing is so it's I reckon it's like actually a physical thing because you can be so busy with everything else, and then
You
I get
forget.
a phone call this morning from my daughter. She was on the fitness trail. She's hurt her foot really badly, and I reckon something physical actually clicks
Happens in
inside
your
of you.
heart.
It's
Yeah.
actually like they talk about endorphins and all that
Yeah.
because the minute she called me,
An
I
emotional
saw
response.
that she was calling me. I knew something. I thought
She doesn't call it this time,
she's something's wrong. She doesn't call me this early. And straight away, and I'm like, oh my God, has she had a car accident or what's happened? And I could tell by the tone in her voice. So I had a physical reaction while I was talking to her, waiting and shaking. What's she going to tell me?
And that's a parent's sixth
Oh, and I
sense.
have to publicly say, the guys that were there, she told me there was a group of work guys there, like I must have
And
been
they
in
helped
high
her?
vis.
They helped her?
Thank you so much. They carried, because her and her friend were right up the top of the
Care
fitness
factor.
trail. And she said they carried her down to the car park and helped her this morning. So I will never know who you were, but thank you from the bottom of my
They
heart.
carried her down.
They carried, because she'd hurt her, she couldn't walk. She actually had to go straight to the hospital.
They
Her friend took her
carried
there
her
and
down.
actually carried her down the
Isn't that
hill.
beautiful?
I know, it was
So
like,
that's care factor.
yeah,
Right?
absolutely
And Sharon
amazing.
said, do we need to care for ourselves? Absolutely. And let's unpack that next week.
Oh, I think we need to unpack that because I'm a huge believer in that. You
Because-
can't pour from an empty cup.
Sharon, can I ask you to do me a big favour? Could you be our little crash test dummy? Can you watch this movie for us during the week And if you want to come
Everyone,
up,
anyone
come up,
anyone come and
come
watch.
up. We'll do a big
watch
group
the,
one next week.
Yeah, just watch
if
the.
you come up and
We'll
talk to
come and
us,
share the care.
or share it, and we'll share the care. Share the care.
Share the care.
Share the care.
I like that idea.
And there's a big
Yeah,
thumbs
well,
up.
everyone. So we'll just maybe I'll get a big platter of nibblies up
come
here.
up.
We'll order one of these amazing light box
And we'll have a
nibbly platters, and everyone can sit and have a drink, a coffee, or a glass of vino or something, and we can talk about care.
We'll unpack it. We'll
Care
unpack
factor
collateral
in
beauty.
love.
No,
We'll share the love. We are, but it's going to be wrapped up in the care factor.
Look after yourself first.
So yeah, I think.
Guins Ros Sullivan.
There you go. Sharon's coming up.
Sharon Bell.
Lorraine Bentley
Great.
might come up.
Great, absolutely.
We won't have anyone watching the live. Well, they might
That's
sit
right.
over there and
They'll
watch it because they'll all be here. But,
We'll cycle them
I think
through.
that's a great idea, and unpacking that movie and actually
So many lessons.
getting the
in it.
lessons out of it.
And if you get them in your heart, like you said, you know, you had that 6 cent Paul
Big
V and Dennis and Rhonda Houston. When you get stuff in your heart, it actually changes your response, and it changes.
Yeah, it does. And talking about and then even her friend, like Tiana, her friend who she was on the fitness trial with, she because they came in Sarah's car, obviously, to the fitness trial. So she drove her up to the hospital. I said, "Do you need me to come?" No, Tiana's right. So she helped her out at the hospital, waited with her while she had the X-ray. She took her home and got her settled. And I thought when your children show that empathy and they've got caring friends and they care, and you're passing on this legacy, and it's this sacred place, as I call it, from the Graham Connors song. Graham Connors sings a song called Sacred Place, and they talk about leaving a sacred place, and we've talked about that on a live before.
Yes.
And I think when you talk about that care factor and passing it on to your children, and you see the things they do for others and their partners and their friends, and I think it's just really nice to actually know that there's people in the community like these guys that have carried her down to the car when she was hurt. And
that's right, and they probably had somewhere else to be. But isn't that nice that they prioritise that self-care, self-awareness?
There was a car accident out the front of my house, and these two girls collided, and I stood there and comforted them and directed traffic and waited on hold with 000. Yeah, I had
you told me that.
Fairly long wait on 000.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right.
That's again our police. I called 000, and they were trying to put me through to the police, and they must be very understaffed right
Rachel
now.
Sampson, all the way from Rockhampton.
Hi, Rachel.
So we're going across the border.
What do you got on this weekend?
Oh, not much.
You're taking your wife to Infamous.
Yes.
Is what you're doing?
Yes.
Tonight or tomorrow night or Sunday night is your last chance to go and see
Sunday, because I'll be
Infamous.
excited because it'll be their last show.
Oh, Sunday will be a great show.
What time? 7
I'm telling you now, I will eat my hat and I will give you your money back for you and Jules' tickets if you go and don't love it. I'm telling you, you'll love it.
I love it. I know I will. If you said we will, I will.
Oh, absolutely. The good thing is you're turning up and it's the unknown. It's a little bit of the unknown.
I'm trusting you.
I'm telling you, you will freaking love it.
Can't wait.
You will love it.
Alrighty.
Infamous, down here. Tickets on Ticket Tech, like their Facebook page, and go into the event. Go see Infamous. It's amazing.
Good work. All right,
it's
girl.
amazing. Have an awesome weekend, everyone. And thank you for joining us. And please
watch the movie.
Stay safe and watch Collateral Beauty for our live next Friday.
And if you're looking for which movie it is, it's got Will Smith in it.
Yes, it has. Amazing actor. And he's also one of our favourite people in the world. He does great motivational. And he's got a huge care factor.
He has.
Huge
he's got a huge following.
He has. And a lot of, everything he says makes so much sense and is relatable. So
he does.
You'll be here next Friday, won't you? You're not tripping off anywhere?
Not that I know of. Oh, I'm not here.
Oh, well, now you've just invited everyone up here and you're not going to be here. Are you here? He doesn't know if he's here.
I'm working.
I'm
in Melbourne.
Retract your invitation
2 weeks.
to the following week.
2 weeks.
Shit.
Sorry, team. I'm in Melbourne.
2 weeks' time. Collateral Beauty.
I'm going down to
recap.
work.
So now you got 2 weeks to watch the movie,
now you got 2 weeks. Shit. I'm down doing some sales training for Melbourne. Have a great weekend. What?
Thank you, Sharon. You have a great weekend too. So,
sorry, team.
The sun's starting to melt my face.
We should do a live.
We will do a live anyway.
I'll do one from Melbourne. Lygon Street.
Lygon Street live.
I'm going down to work with an app developing company who want to learn how to sell more, communicate with their clients.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's really good. We will go head off. We're just about fully on the exact
On the
hour.
hour.
So
Let's
I hope
knock
to
it off
see.
out
I
of the
hope to
hour.
see lots of people have been to Infamous over the weekend. Have an awesome week.
And
If you want a
Ros is
good
gonna give
laugh,
you your money back if
seriously,
it's
I
no
will.
good.
Honestly, I'll give you your money back if you don't go and enjoy that
And I
show.
know you will. 'Cause if
Oh,
she says
absolutely.
it's good, it will be
I
good.
will. I money back guarantee.
Yes, I'm coming. All right, cool.
Cool, Annie. Okay.
Thanks, Annie. Oh, I'm coming. Where? Go.
Have a great week. You just
Shit. Oof.
have a great week. We will see you all next week, remotely maybe.
Five,
Take care.
4, 3,
We're
2,
going. Bye.
1. See you.